The morning of February 19th, 2020 began like any other in Brisbane. Hannah Clark secured her 3 children in the car for the school drop-off. Minutes later, neighbors would hear her screaming for help as flames consumed the vehicle. What looked like a tragic accident was something far more deliberate. Hannah Clark was born on September 8, 1988, in Brisbane, Australia. She was known for her warmth, energy, and natural leadership. A talented trampoline gymnast, she represented her state as a teenager and later became school captain. After graduating, she followed her passion for working with children and began coaching gymnastics at the Police Citizens Youth Club. That's where she met Rowan Baxter. Rowan, born May 9, 1977, in New Zealand, presented himself as a former professional rugby player. In reality, his sporting career had been brief. Behind the confident image, those close to him described a man who was controlling, volatile, and deeply insecure. Rowan had already been married once. That relationship ended amid intimidation and coercive behavior. Soon after meeting Hannah in 2008, he began pursuing her, claiming his marriage was already over. Within months, he had separated and moved in with her. Their relationship escalated quickly. Hannah became pregnant, and in 2012 they married. Over the next 4 years, they welcomed 3 children, Aaliyah, Lina, and Trey. Outwardly, they appear to be building a life together, even opening a gym called Integrate Gym. But behind closed doors, Rowan's behavior grew increasingly controlling. He isolated Hannah from friends and family. He monitored her communications. He dictated aspects of her daily life. Arguments often ended with intimidation, emotional abuse, and threats. The children witnessed his anger. Hannah later described feeling trapped and fearful. By late 2019, she decided to leave. With support from a family violence service, Hannah quietly formed an escape plan. In December, she took the children and moved into her parents' home. Legal proceedings followed, and a domestic violence order was put in place. Rowan was restricted from approaching her or the children without court-approved arrangements. Despite this, his behavior escalated. He continued appearing unexpectedly, breaching boundaries and attempting to regain control. Court rulings eventually granted Hannah primary custody, with limited supervised arrangements. Rowan's anger deepened. On February 17, 2020, he purchased zip ties, a jerry can, and fuel. The next day, he filled a container with gasoline. On the morning of February 19th, Hannah followed her usual routine. She returned home after the gym, shared coffee with her mother, then buckled her children into the car to take them to school. As she started the engine, Rowan suddenly entered the passenger seat carrying fuel. Terrified, Hannah drove a short distance and stopped near a man washing his car. She screamed for help, shouting that Rowan had poured petrol on her. Within seconds, the situation escalated. Fuel ignited. The car became engulfed in flames. Bystanders rushed to help. One man used a hose to extinguish the fire on Hannah as she stumbled out of the vehicle. Others tried desperately to control the blaze consuming the car. Hannah, severely burned, cried out repeatedly for her children. Emergency services arrived quickly, but the fire had already taken hold. Rowan then fatally stabbed himself at the scene. Hannah was transported to the hospital with catastrophic burns. Even in extreme pain, she continued asking about her children. She succumbed to her injuries later that day. Her 3 children did not survive. Investigators later discovered a message Rowan had written on his phone, framing his actions as retaliation. Authorities found no drugs or alcohol in his system. The act was determined to be deliberate. The tragedy shocked Australia and sparked national conversations about coercive control, the pattern of psychological domination and isolation Hannah had endured for years. Many questioned whether warning signs had been recognized soon enough and whether stronger intervention could have changed the outcome. On March 9th, 2020, Hannah and her children were laid to rest together. Their deaths left a permanent scar on the community and became a painful reminder that domestic violence does not always begin with physical harm. It often begins quietly with control, isolation, and fear. And sometimes by the time it becomes visible to the world, it is already too late.